You know, some hockey fans think this skater could have played forever or at least much longer than his career went on, were it not a rough diagnosis of MS in the tail end of his career. Today we're going to talk about the very well respected and a very successful NHL star, Dave Balon. Now, David Alexander Balon was born August 2nd, 1938 in Waukau, Saskatchewan, and probably one of the best NHL players to come from the province in the, what I consider the late 50s era. Now, Balon became to major prominence because of his successful junior hockey career with the Prince Albert Mintos of the SJHL before turning pro in '58 and joining the New York Rangers farm system. Now, he would make his NHL debut in his 1960 season with a 3-game call-up to the Rangers. Now, over the next 2 years, he would be a frequent call-up, seeing 43 more games of NHL action and recording 5 goals and 18 points. In '63, he finally established himself as a full-time member of the Rangers, appearing in all 70 games and recording 11 goals and 24 points. Now, a defensive specialist, he could also play the power play or the major offensive line, which he saw later with his time with the Habs. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Now, Balon was supposed to be a part of the Rangers' big rebuilding format. The '64 season started off pretty much like that, but something really changed his fortunes. He ended up being traded to the Montreal Canadiens in a 7-player deal, which also involved the switch of Hall of Fame goalies, as Jacques Plante went to the Rangers and Worsley went back to Montreal. Now, his first season in Montreal, some people consider him as one of his best. He finished the campaign with 24 goals, good for third on the team, and 42 points. Again, he was seeing a lot of ice time with Beliveau and Richard and the top players. Now, you have another solid season in '65, posting 41 points and helping Montreal to the Stanley Cup championship after a 5-year absence. Now, a lot of media at the time felt that Balon's presence on Montreal gave a kind of a steadying influence on the second and third line because he could play any place. Now, in '66, he had another successful year with Montreal, as he also assisted on Henry Richard's cup-winning goal in overtime against Detroit in Game 6. Now, in '67, Balon was exposed by Montreal in the expansion draft and selected by the Minnesota North Stars. He would return to his form with the Stars, posting career highs at assists and points, and was selected to play in the NHL All-Star game for the West Side. Now, he had played in 2 previous All-Star games for Montreal in the format where the league champion played a team of All-Stars, but this was his true All-Star selection, his first. He had an especially strong playoff, scoring 13 points in 14 games and leading the NHL in playoff assists with 9. Now, following the season, Balon would be dealt back to his first NHL team, the Rangers, in exchange for 3 players. But his first year back in New York was subpar by his standards, as he finished with 10 goals and 31 points. Now, he would have a big comeback in 1970, as he finished 7th in league in goals with 33 and 10th in scoring overall with 70 points. Now, he followed it up with another stellar season in '71, as he bettered his career high with 36 goals, again a top 10 mark in the league, and it was voted the most popular Ranger on a team with 5 future Hall of Famers. Now, his offensive accomplishments were even more impressive in that he was only one of the team's top defensive forwards often assigned to check opposition stars. Now, Balon was having some medical concern at the time, and he really didn't know what it was. So, when the '71-'72 season started, some media was speculated that he might be out of town, and of course, he was dealt to the Vancouver Canucks. Now, he did finish the season with respectable totals of 23 goals and 47 assists, but he was never the player he was in New York. Now, he was, as we found out later on, the early stages of MS, which is a very debilitating disease, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know. And but it was only fully diagnosed after his playing career was over, because MS diagnoses were in the what they call the formational side like that in the 60s and 70s. Now, in 73, Balon had a shocking loss of form as the illness took a toll in his play. A top 10 defensive player in the league just 2 seasons prior, Balon slumped to just 3 goals and 5 points in 57 games. Now, Balon was treated harshly by the media and fans in Vancouver, who didn't realize the nature of his condition and attributed his suddenly sluggish play to a lack of effort or just being washed up. And there was much, sadness later on when it finally came out why he was sick. And he did give it one last shot. He suited up with the Quebec Nordiques of the WHA in 74, but was forced to retire after 7 games. Now, Balon finished his NHL career with a very impressive 192 goals and 220 assists for 414 points in 776 career games, including almost a penalty minute a game average. He played in 4 All-Star games and won 2 Stanley Cups, as was noted. Now, after his retirement, Balon's proper diagnosis allowed him to be treated for the disease as best as could be hoped for. He did turn to coaching and spend several seasons as head coach of the legendary Humboldt Broncos of the SJHL. Now, Balon did fall on hard times during the 80s and 90s as his condition worsened. He was left unable to work and forced to live off his small NHL pension. Ultimately, he received assistance from the NHLPA and various alumni organizations thereafter until his death from MS, from which he had suffered, according to doctors' reports, for at least 30 years. He died on May 29, 2007, age 68, in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, a hero to the Rangers, a hero to the Montreal Canadiens, a hero to Saskatchewan, and a hero to the many fans who cheered him on and appreciated his skill in every facet of his game. Now, awards and achievements, like we were saying. NHL All-Star with Montreal in 65. NHL All-Star with Montreal in 67. Minnesota All-Star selection in 68. All-Star selection for the Rangers in 71. Again, and he led Rangers in goals in 1970 and 71. But he also tried as well to shine a light in the importance of more funding for people like him who had suffered after hockey, that from chronic diseases and assorted ailments. But what really stands out for me with Balon, well, some people pronounce it Balon, but I call it Balon. He was scoring goals where any opportunity to score, he would put the puck in. He was a hard worker. I remember watching some of the old tapes about him playing with Belleville, and all of a sudden he was on the ice and the puck was in the net, and just like Ronnie Ellis, just like a strong second or third liner, he really showcased his skill. And hockey misses him, because I think he was still alive now. I know the Rangers and Montreal fans would benefit from his knowledge of hockey and his appreciation of the importance of teamwork, because he was a team player all the way. So that's the story of the legendary Dave Balon. Please leave a comment, like, or subscribe. There's no monetization on this channel, but I do appreciate any feedback from the listeners, because this is your channel. It's not only I'm doing it just to celebrate the sports coverage I've done over the years as a media member, but in celebration of maybe some of the lost stories of the NHL, like Dave Balon, because in 2020, not say he's been forgotten, but he should be appreciated more, because he struggled with personal demons that were not of his creation, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, have a good day. Bye.